Hey everyone, it's Kylie with Kentucky Mudworks. For this demo, we're going to make a Slab Tiki cup for ages 8 and older. To get the materials for this project, you can buy our Clay at Home kit at kymudworks.com. This project will use just about all of the clay that's in your Clay at Home kit. You're going to start by throwing the clay down on the table and pushing it down with your hands. We're working to create a slab. To make a slab, it's easy to use a rolling pin to roll the clay out on the table. If you don't have a rolling pin at home, you can use a can of soup, or you could use some type of tubing, anything that you can find that's similar to a rolling pin. While you roll out your slab, you want to flip it over halfway through just to help it stay even. Be sure to check the thickness as you're going. You don't want the slab to get too thin. You want it to be just a little bit thinner than your finger. If the slab gets too thin, it'll rip and we won't be able to use it. Once you have your slab rolled out, you need to set it aside for a few hours to dry. If the slab is too wet, then you're not going to be able to use it. It will just fall apart when you start to form your cup. While your slab is drying, you can grab a piece of paper and sketch out some of your ideas for your tiki cup. Think about the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, and other details you'd like to add. Once your slab dries for a while, you're ready to start constructing your cup. Use some type of canned good that you have in your pantry to form your slab cup. We're going to use this can to measure out the size that we need for our slab. It works really well if you roll the can on top of your slab so you can see exactly where you need to cut it to get the right height that's even. Using a butter knife or your wooden tool, go ahead and cut your slab. I cut mine in a straight line on the top and the bottom. If you want to make the top of your cup not straight, you can choose to cut it with a zigzag shape or another shape if you want to. Make sure you smooth out both sides of the slab because you don't want either of them to be sharp. Now we have to measure the distance around our can so we can figure out how long our slab has to be. I like to use my wire tool to measure the distance by wrapping it around the can and marking it with my finger. Then I can take the wire over to the slab and mark both ends of it so I know where to make my cuts. To cut a straight line, it helps if you trace out your line lightly a few times and then make your cut. After you get everything cut, smooth out the sides and the edges of the slab because you want everything to be smooth. Now we have to get a slab and cut the bottom of our cup out. I like to use the can to make a perfect circle by pressing it down into the clay and then using my butter knife to cut out the circle. Once you get it cut out, it helps if you roll it on the table just to make it really smooth and more round. Now we're going to actually start to construct our cup. Use your metal rib to scratch the bottom part of the slab and then grab some slip, which is just a clay and water mixture, and apply it with your sponge to the bottom of the slab where you scratched. Do the same thing to the circle piece because we're going to attach those two pieces together. Press your circle piece onto the slab and start to roll it. If your slab is too wet at this point, it's not going to work. It's going to just collapse on itself. You want to make sure that you have the slab a little bit firm so it can hold up at this point. Once you make it all the way back around, you can decide if you want your connection to be a straight line or a zigzag or whatever shape you want. Then use your metal rib to scratch both sides of the slab and apply some slip with your sponge. You really want to make sure that you get a good amount on there because you're going to be sticking the two pieces together. Use your finger or your sponge to smooth out your connection. Check the bottom, make sure everything is rubbed in and really smooth. If it gets a little bit misshapen, that's fine. You can roll it out on the table and fix that. It's no problem. Now we're going to add the facial features. I'm going to start by mapping out my face and then start with the eyes. I'm going to stack two pieces together and cut them to make them the same size. Use my fingers to kind of smooth them out and add some extra softer clay to add attachments. One tip for this is if you use your wooden tool to kind of mark where the features are, it helps you see where you need to scratch at and also apply your slip to connect things. Then you're going to use your metal rib and your sponge to continue scoring and slipping things onto the cup. I'm going to speed through this part just because it's kind of the same thing over and over again. You guys can do whatever you want to add facial features onto your cup. Don't forget that you can decorate the rest of your cup besides just the front with whatever details you want. When you finish, you're going to want to wipe your cup with a damp sponge just to clean things up and smooth things out. Don't forget to sign your name and then cover it with a piece of plastic to dry slowly. And there you have it. There's our finished Tiki slab cup. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys tune in for our next demo. If you want to buy our clay at home kit, you can visit kymudworks.com.